Perfect. I think now the recording is on.
Yep,
And I think before we proceed, let's do one final audio and video check, I guess. So, do you think is
okay.
there any lag?
No, I don't think so.
No, from my side also it's perfect. I think
Yep,
we will try to keep this more in English so that it can reach all the audience, not only Hindi, but I think in between, if you want, we can change. It's not like an interview or formal podcast or something. It's mainly more
sure,
like a conversation between two friends.
sure.
So why we are doing this? Basically, we were just discussing about it that we still get approached from new as a graduates or school students who want to pursue the career in naval architecture or go they want to go on board the vessel, or sometimes they are just curious about how the future looks like in this. So that's why we thought, okay, we both have been in this now for pretty long time. Okay, not
Pretty
too
long.
much, but still good enough to at least comment about some things.
Yep, yeah,
Yeah, so
obviously.
basically, today our guest is Jeet Banerjee. He's a good
Thank
friend
you.
of mine, a roommate actually. 3 years we stayed together. So
Yep,
you can understand the kind of memories we shared. Uh, and I think remaining, I will let him speak about himself then. Jeet, now it's all
okay.
yours.
Okay, Mihir, first of all, thank you for inviting me. So,
Pleasure's
thank
mine.
you for considering me for this podcast. Glad to be here. And yeah, one point which you have specifically mentioned that our juniors in the industry and also the freshers in naval architecture specifically. This industry, if I consider within India, it's when we started, it was pretty new to us also.
Indeed.
Many of us, even those who did not have such contacts, people did not know what we are doing.
No,
Even we did not know what we are doing. So
exactly.
so there was a lot of so there was a lot of confusions between that. And but now I believe slowly, the industry has explored.
Hmm.
They have actually with open hands accepted the knowledge of naval architects. And now naval architecture is not just about designing.
Yeah,
Now it has explored the market, vastly. And there is a lot of hush with the when it comes now in regard to the data analysis part, or when it comes to automations. Everywhere in the shipping industry, they prefer naval architects.
yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunity for the guys who just don't want to do basic designing part. Obviously, there's a lot of scope in that too, but also in a scope when during the tenure, if they want to change into a different stream. So there's a lot of scope in that too. So now naval architects have a lot of things to talk to and a lot of place to go.
I really agree. And I think you really touched upon some key topics here, like the broadness of the field now. It's no more just designing, it's about data analysis, or maybe it could be about emissions, sustainability, or hydrodynamics. And I think these are some of the really key branches, I must say, that you can choose from because they are quite in demand these days.
Exactly.
Uh, so I think we will touch upon these topics gradually when we will proceed into our conversation. But I think let's first give an introduction about how you came to know about naval architecture, Jeet.
Well, Mihir, I guess I don't have to introduce myself to you because you already know, but it's for the audience
Exactly.
around there. As you know, my father has been a retired radio officer.
Yeah.
In my family, the scope of a merchant navy has been far too long. In regard to my brothers being in the market, my father, my forefathers being in a part of this industry. there was a lot of glamour, I
Yeah.
would say. There was and there is, obviously. And that is one part of the thing which really attracted me. And I wanted to sail on board. But eventually, sometimes when you have someone to guide yourself, uh, that kind of knowledge, if you have someone in the family who has already sailed on board for far too long, they can guide you whether you are even capable of doing that.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot of mental stability when you go on board the ship.
Yeah.
It's not a normal life.
So
It's not a nine to
basically,
five job.
you were not interested in going on board, but you were still looking into the industry. Let's say it like this.
Exactly. I was like hell bound to get into somewhere or the other, because since I was not allowed to go on board. Then I came to know. Then I came to know about naval architecture, and that was through someone very close to my father's company, and he has guided me throughout. And by that time, I came to know what it is all about. I did some bit of research, I would say, and it kind of attracted me because I was also into this, creative stuff of this designing and all this thing. So I thought, let's explore that thing because it is pretty much a specialization degree.
Yeah.
It's not a normal IT because I was not at all interested in going there, and
The funny
I
thing
just wanted to
is,
do.
you might be even now using more coding skills, right? Even if you are not
Yeah,
interested.
like, yeah, like,
That's the same story of mine.
seriously, then again, you plan something, and then God has other plans for you. So,
Exactly.
yeah, that's what. But specifically, if I say, now when I come here and when I look into my journey throughout this degree I have done and the work experience I've had, I do not regret a single decision, a single moment of my life, because I really enjoy being or having the tag of a naval architect, and I believe you too.
Yeah, indeed.
So that's something which we are very proud of.
Yeah.
Not many out there can say that they are naval architects. So it's a pretty I would say glamorous, and also it's a pretty pride moment for us also to be associated with this title.
Yeah, indeed.
So yeah, that's I would say that's all about my journey through this.
I think the common factor that how you ended up in naval architecture is the same story of many out there because they might be interested on going on board, but then somehow some things happen and they ended up in naval architecture and they start to like it.
Right,
So
right.
I think I can also relate to the same story, but let's keep
Yeah.
focus on you today. But
Okay.
so, just to give a bit of background, we both did Bachelor's of Naval Architecture and Offshore Engineering from Amit University, Chennai. We were in the batch from 2015 to 2019. We graduated, and then everyone went on their own ways. So, Jeet, how were your 4 years?
Well, Mihir, to tell you, I miss that time. You know, while although I have got into a different zone, you have got into a different zone. Practically, also we are in different time zones.
That's
So but I miss those days. Obviously, those fun times we used to have after our
yeah,
semester exams. Before our semester exams,
that's
even
also
the night, even the night before the semester exam, I believe I believe that's a part of most of the people, staying together. They create a bond because you stay out of the family and you seek that bond in some friends. So I was very lucky, touchwood, to have friends like you.
the
uh,
same.
so so those 4 years, obviously, though, those trips that we had,
Yeah.
some I would say some excessive fun that we had. Well, all those memories and
Yeah.
everything was. to cherish about, and I cherish each and every day of it, and I miss those times. And
Yeah,
I just wish, someday, we can again get back to that college, that day, at least take a day off, just go around there, roam around, and have a party out there. So
that's
with
true.
the old
That would be
chaps, with
really
the old,
awesome.
yeah,
Back then, we were really living in one room and three people, and but I
okay,
think
yes,
that were really one of the best days. We had
yep.
so many memories that there's nothing I want to change about it. It was just how it was.
Okay. Well, not a bit, yeah.
And then let's get back on the topic. So after you finished your 4 years, I remember that you got an internship already in the final year, or job already, right, in the
Yeah.
Big Sandvik, if I
So
remember correct.
exactly, exactly. So it was like, yeah, in the final year only. It started as a, I would say, internship, and afterwards it turned out to be a placement offer from them. And eventually I was very much, I would say, scared, because I was not sure that what it is going to happen. What is the future ahead, and what I'm going to do, because it was pretty much new to me.
Yeah,
And although you have a lot of, you do a lot of, you touch a lot of topics, even research topics in college. But then again, when you go outside, that's the real world,
yeah,
and that's how you have to perform. And I had no idea about it.
yeah,
And although you have the experience, whatever whatever academic skills you have in the college, it's not going to matter in the practical life. It all matters how much experience you are coming up with, and how you are dealing with the real life, in the real life world.
yeah,
So it was, I would say, to sum up it, I was really scared. But one decision actually made me happy, when I got the opportunity to get back to my homeland. So I got the opportunity to work in Kolkata. So that was, I
after
would
that,
say,
right?
that was exactly after
So how
that,
long
after the
you worked for
internship.
with Sandvik then?
Approximately, it will be around 2 years, 5 to 6 months, 2 years.
Wow, that's a
Yeah,
long time.
that's a long time. Yeah.
And what were the projects you were working on? Like what type of
So
designing or research?
yes, yes. So the projects were typically of designing on the Indian Navy vessels.
Hmm.
I was, even with me, two and three other people from our college only were placed there, and we were working on survey vessel of Indian Navy,
Nice.
under, yeah, under Garden Ridge Shipbuilders. So we were placed in the client space, and it was pretty much new to us. And also it was, I would say, um, a great achievement, and a moment of pride that we are doing something for the country.
That's
And
true.
we are getting something out of it, and we are getting the knowledge. There were people who were helping us within this time, and we were learning that, whatever we have learned in college, that's nothing. So it's everything is, when you go out, everything is out there. So
Right.
that's what. So yeah, that was one of the project that we were working on. We were working on ASW corvettes, also anti-submarine warfare corvettes, and I was also a part of the design, and as well as I was shifted to a detailed design team. uh, so that was my, during my tenure, what I did in Big Sandik.
Wow. That's hell lot of different kind of projects, huh? But I think it's really
Yes,
nice that you were able to find the meaning in your job, that you are doing
yes.
something contributing for your country. I think that really gives a meaning to the work we are doing, right?
Exactly. I mean, if I consider from the, from the starting point of view, if I consider the remuneration, obviously, it takes a toll, because when you compare IT companies and when you compare us, it is a very different thing.
Yeah.
So at that time, there was no, there was no one to also guide us in that, I would say.
Yeah.
And there was not much digitalization which has happened throughout this time, and
Hmm.
there were not enough scopes in the maritime industry,
Yeah.
which we have explored throughout our work. But
Yeah.
I would say every experience matters, and that's what made me. I would say that one decision is what where I'm standing here right now.
Yeah. Agree. And I think now I have lots of questions until here, but let's think in this way that when you were in your bachelor's, what would you have done differently that would have helped you in your jobs currently?
Okay,
For to give
so
you a bit more context now,
yeah,
one example I will give from my side is that I would have preferred to work more on MATLAB, for example, because that is something I think is quite important, and it you can learn it afterwards, but I think during the bachelor's years you have a lot of time to learn MATLAB, for example, based on NPTL. So that's one suggestion that I think that I could have done differently, which could have actually helped me a lot in my future during my job or in my master studies, for example. So I think now I would let you speak on what are your suggestion on that
So,
on that.
like if I consider from what I would have done differently, well, I would have focused more, because my focus right now, and also my interest which I have gathered throughout this time, was on vessel performance. So I like during that time, obviously I have learned throughout this, and there were new regulations coming up in the emissions sector, which was not there previously, which have come up through. But I would say, a little bit on gaining yourself, or updating yourself with the latest technologies that is going up in the industry. Also, the automations, the type of automations that were done on board the ships to make the life much more easier on board. And also, I would say a little bit of skills on the coding part, like you say, MATLAB
Yeah.
and MATLAB, Pythons. So this kind of things, what it does is, it does not make you at par with with those people who are doing core jobs in the IT. But just the thing is that whatever you are doing in your sector, if you just specify that, or you specifically work on that part, it makes your work a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I would have, in regard to the skills, in the data analysis skills point of view, which I have learned through myself, which I was lagging actually. And I would suggest all the freshers to do that,
Yeah.
is updating themselves with Excel. Even with formulas, even
Yeah.
with the automations in Excel. Excel is like a very very important tool. Even Python and everything comes afterwards. If
Yeah.
you don't know, the nitty gritties on Excel, I wouldn't say that industry is going to wholeheartedly accept you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of work that goes around that tool. And if you just learn that tool, if you embrace that tool, you can like solve at least 70 to 80% of the problems.
Exactly. I think
uh,
that's
I,
really good
I would
suggestion that start with Excel because Excel is quite powerful tool. We want to
right.
jump into Python, for example, but I think Python is secondary to Excel. First learn
Exactly.
Excel, and then Python is something you can pick up on go. And yeah, indeed, I think Python is something people should really focus on. Like MATLAB, I gave example because back then that was more famous. But
Yes, yes.
yeah, Python is something I use currently in my day-to-day job, and I spend most of my time on Python than any other fancy softwares out there.
Right.
So I think that's really good idea. Apart from that, do you think you could have done something different in your internships that you did?
Yeah, I would suggest, like, from my side, the internship which I did, it was more on helping on the already made designs. So I wasn't making any effort on changing, or I wasn't using my practical skills which I have learned in the college.
Yeah.
and I was implementing that because that was already done.
Yeah.
So whatever I was doing, it was just assisting someone in finalizing the tasks, which did not add much value to me.
Hmm.
I would say, but I would say right now, since there is a lot of things going in the industry,
Hmm.
I would suggest that the freshers should, by themselves get internships on companies which are giving them, scopes on if they are interested in performance analysis and all these things. So they should obviously learn the basics on, about resistance, powering. Obviously, they should have their basics clear, and
Yeah.
afterwards they should take internships in these companies, even the startups actually.
Yeah.
Don't just think about it that it's a startup. If I get a internship in a renowned company, I would get much recognition, but it's not like that. Now situations have changed. Startups in the maritime industry are doing pretty well.
Hmm.
So if you are getting that opportunity in startups, grab that and do whatever your core skills lie.
Hmm.
So I would suggest, and where you can make actually you can make a critical difference rather than you are helping someone to finalize your tasks only.
Agree. And talking about what could have you changed, let's talk about what went right in your career.
Okay, so I would say what went right was my it would have been due to the support, I would say, of all the faculties I had at that time. I could work on some good research projects, and from that time onwards, I realized that since I did a project on research methodology, and I was more into CFDs, and data analysis was one part of the thing which I was already interested in from that point of view,
Okay.
and and throughout that time I realized that working with scrubber when the topic was pretty much new, giving that platform to present a paper in front of that University of Strathclyde, which we had a presentation for. So I would say giving that platform, having that platform actually helped me in my later stages in life. It
Mhm.
actually took the fright, that fright away from me, and I could work more, in a more better way with more confidence that I can do something with new technologies.
Yeah.
And since I got the support in the initial stage, so
Yeah.
that helped me obviously.
Oh, that's nice. I remember that you are quite interested with the research topics, and I remember that you were really keen on working there. So that's why I was a bit asking you what you did in with Sandvik, because I knew that it most likely going to deal with design.
Right,
So
right.
are you working on some R&D or not currently, or it's
Uh, okay. well,
because why I'm asking this is that I have seen that the work that we do in Europe is really R&D based, and what I have seen is that we outsource a lot of things in India, for example, for design works. So
right.
I'm just trying to understand if I'm correct or wrong, or what's the industry is looking in India for now.
Well, Mihir, if I specifically tell you, there is a lot of hush around the corner because ETS is coming up. Emissions is one part of the thing where everyone is gearing up.
Yeah,
Although India, not specifically currently being a part, taking an active part inside it,
yeah,
but the companies that we are doing for Europe also, that with EU ETS coming up, the carbon taxation coming up in the shipping industry from 2024, it's
yeah,
going to be a it's going to open a lot of market
yeah,
even from the designing point of view. As you know, McKinsey Muller, the companies that design your vessels having alternative fuel, or
yeah,
even Musk having their first methanol powered vessel. So this kind of things, this kind of new designs which is coming up, again it is helping the industry, reducing their or gaining their target on reducing the emissions, and gaining to the pathway of net zero emissions.
Yeah.
but in currently it is all about the emissions sector,
Yeah.
because there is a lot of hush on the vessel performance, how you're going to save a lot of cost on the fuel, how you're going to save each and every penny of it. Even the charterers right now are more interested in the ETS part, because they also have some responsibility, contractual, I would say. So obviously, when taxation comes, everyone gets a lot of they just move while they were sleeping ahead. So they just stand up and, okay, fine, now I have to pay for each of the ton I surrender. So now they all get very serious. There is
I
no
think
way to
same was
cheat.
the story back when the scrubbers were picking up, huh? That
Yes,
everybody
yeah,
now
exactly.
had to put scrubbers in their vessel. The whole shipyards were just getting full because of all the ships are just booking them. But I think
Right,
that's really correct. I also completely agree that the emission is going to be really a key focus on our industry for now. And as you said, methanol, for example, I think it's really a future fuel that shipping industry will migrate to. And then I think there are far more options to explore. Like I think LNG is more like a transition fuel for now.
right, right.
But what are the other options? What are the other ways you think the vessel?
Well,
Uh,
there's a lot of work going on, even in case of blue ammonia. There's a lot of experiments which are going on with hydrogen as a fuel. Biofuels. Obviously, it's there has been a interim acceptance on the guidelines of usage of biofuel.
hmm,
So there is like people are going to anyway switch into that very soon. So there is a lot of guidelines they have to follow. But eventually, all these things are done. Even people are using the blend of the fuel. So all these things are done with the sole target in mind. They have to reduce the emissions, and obviously, people get serious when it's a regulatory framework.
yeah,
Unless and until you just put that regulatory, in Hindi we say thabba, no one gets very serious about it.
yeah,
So that's what. Yeah.
yeah. I agree. And do you think? Okay, let me ask you first that what are you working on currently with energy transition? I think your prime
Okay.
focus or your current role somehow is
Yeah.
related to that, right?
Yeah. Currently, I am more focused because my company focuses. Their prime focus is on weather routing, but also we are coming up with a package on the latest the performance analysis on CII and ETS. Like I said, so it's going to be a new market, and so we are coming up with some sort of thing which could help the clients and the operators as well as the charterers in some way, in order to reduce their fuel cost, and also save them a lot of emission allowances to surrender to. And
Which
in
company you are working for
besides,
currently?
sorry,
Which company you're working for currently?
I'm working for True North Marine.
Okay,
It's established in Quebec, so they have a office here in Chandigarh.
I see. Okay,
Yep.
that's interesting.
So yeah. So it's like pretty much working on that, and obviously besides that, I always look into some roles, like in I always obviously I get that feeling of educating people that you have seen throughout my time, even in my college. I always like to learn something else other
Hmm.
than the standard framework. So even that's why I created my own website, where I, with the sole aim in mind that I could give up some of the topics which are not very much open to common people.
That's nice.
So
I think
that is mainly the advice part. Yeah.
that's really good that you have website also. So you write for blogs or post what's it
Blogs.
about?
Yeah. So those catering to my blogs on the latest regulations on and the latest news that are all going in the industry, and also there are some projects which I have worked on previously. They also showcase that.
I
So
see.
it's all about that.
I think that's
So it's a
really
funny
nice.
way I educate the people. Yeah.
I think I would, after this podcast, you can give me your website link so I can also put it down in the description.
Thank you so much, Minu.
I
Thank you so
think
much.
that
Thank
would
you
be
so much.
really, yeah. I will also have a look on it. It would be fun to read about what
Sure,
you're
sure.
saying.
Please, yeah, please do that.
So you do post on LinkedIn also? You share the link, or how you publish it
Uh,
usually?
yeah, so basically, sometimes I post on LinkedIn also, but since now I have my website, there I post the blogs. So I just shared the link on LinkedIn. I have posted something on the biofuel usage on ships very recently.
Oh,
Uh,
interesting.
so so that is actually on my website, but I have posted the link on LinkedIn. So it's all about that, somewhere or the other.
So basically, if somebody wants to read about this, you can visit Jeet's website. And at the same time, would you recommend people to go through Rena magazines and all these kind of
Yes, obviously, and
institution?
pretty much Reena is coming up with a webinar. I'm not very sure of, I would say webinar or seminar. I'm not very sure of that, which is going to be, specifically on that CII and vessel performance.
Okay.
So people should have a look of it. And also, like, thank you for touching this topic. I wanted to actually specifically tell that the webinars that are done within the industry by all the, all the companies who have already settled a place
Yeah.
in regard to emissions as well as in regard to vessel performance. I would suggest each and every freshers, if they want to look into their scope within this industry, you should get into these webinars. They are really helpful. You get to learn a lot. You get to associate with the people a lot, because our industry is, as you know me, it's pretty much small. It's not very big,
Hmm.
but it's all about the people. Those people who are there in the industry. It's better to have that contacts,
Yeah.
and you should be more readily available, and you should
Yeah.
have that knowledge, and then the industry is going to accept you wholeheartedly. So
Exactly.
that's all.
I think that's really true because we really have to put efforts from our side to know, because at the same time what I see in our industries there is a huge skill gap also. So maybe I think there are these ways where you can work on yourself during the studies, doing NPTEL courses or read on your own. This will really help you shine out. I think these are
Right.
some things we really take it for granted that okay, we are doing internship, that's enough, but I think that's really not enough. We really
Actually.
have to put our extra efforts.
Yep. Yeah.
Anyway, how your day to day life looks like?
Okay, day to day life. So now, currently, since I'm now, establishing a product right now, so there's a lot of educating the people, because uh, then again, you have the knowledge, but someone to develop something, even those people in the IT, they don't have knowledge like us. They are
Yeah,
not from our domain. So that transition is very much needed. You should also have the knowledge of coding. So that's what I said. Knowledge of coding
yeah,
is needed to help them understand what you are going to say. So that kind of things are coming up. So there's a lot of work meetings, and I would say there's a lot of things which are coming up in the new sectors. Since ETS, I said it's going to have their framework released post this October. So a lot of things gonna change. Maybe we can have some new additions to the business part. So that's all planning. So the planning stage is going up right now.
mm-hmm.
We will be executing it very soon, hopefully. And yeah, but right now, like I said, our organization focuses more on the weather routing part, and with this ETS coming up, we are going to implement that within it, because a better algorithm and a good mathematical model is needed,
Yeah,
to reduce that emissions. You
yeah.
cannot just use any of that, any algorithms. Just implement that and present it to the clients.
So
So that's all. That
basically, you are also working on the algorithms.
Well, right now, not at all. Basically, that is taken care of, since our organization is also associated with a research organization which addresses on the AI platforms.
I see.
It's a very big platform like that, Ivado. So they are already taking care of that, but
Okay.
I'm responsible all on the emissions point of view,
I
the
see.
ETS and the development on the CIF.
Oh, nice. And do you guys make any applications to be released or something like this for?
Well, yes. We have our application OptiNav. OptiNav is the next big thing. I would say the next big thing in the industry coming up, and I would suggest everyone to have a look of it. We have our brochure, and it takes into all the considerations in the market when it comes to weather routing, hull and propeller performance. So it takes up everything, and it gives you a great solutions on that,
So it's
in
based on cloud
reducing.
computing or how it works?
So that application, basically it's on the, I wouldn't say it's on the development stage. I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to speak a lot
Yeah,
on that.
it's
So
okay. It's
so
okay.
I would just say that it's better, you just get into the website, have a look of it, and if you have any questions in regard to that, feel free to contact us in our contact us page. We will be happy to help and show you a demo on that.
Perfect. I'll put this also in description. I'm also quite
Yeah.
curious now to see about it, what it is all
Okay.
about. But yeah, I get
Sure.
the
Sure.
idea about it, but I'm really interested.
Yeah. That's really cool.
That's really interesting. And going back to one question I had from you, because I did my master's and you started directly in industry.
Yes.
What is your opinion about it? Like, would you still go for a master, or is it something you feel that okay, I have quite good industrial experience, then I don't need it?
Well, Mihir, if from 2 to 3 years back, I would obviously, jump up to any offers in the masters,
Mm-hmm.
but eventually, then I decided not to go.
Yeah,
But currently, I would say, everything happens for a reason. I believe now my interest lies more on the data science point of view. So even if I get a master's, I would be getting in that sort. But
yeah,
I won't be changing my industry, but I will be helping my industry in getting more into the digitalization point of view.
yeah,
But having that knowledge, as a prime factor. So obviously, whatever I've gained through my work experience, I believe right now I'm at a proper stage
yeah.
where I can work on that. But obviously, masters is in my mind. Obviously, it's not out of my mind. I will be getting that, but not might be in the core naval architecture.
Okay. At this stage, I have two things to add. First, I will literally add one suggestion for everyone is that I have seen time and time on LinkedIn that many of the students do some online Udemy course or Coursera and they put it on certificate when they are looking for a job. But I personally feel that that's not really going to help you to find a job. These skills should be acquired so that you really want them to use it one day. Showing out certificates, they don't hold any value. And I think you also resonate the same, right?
Exactly. So, then again, like I said, our industry is pretty small. They do not believe on the hush and hush, whatever you have to say. You
Yeah,
cannot gimmick here. It's all about your skills. If you are going to, those people who are not having any certificates and they are having good hold on, even on basic tools like Excel, like I said, they are going to have much more opportunity in the job market.
yeah,
So if you're going to make their work easy, they don't want to understand anything in a complex pattern. You just
yeah.
make it easy, they're going to hire you.
And I think I have one question for you. Since you were talking about doing a master's, for example, in
Yeah.
data science, would you still go with the conventional university route, or would you take some online university course like for 2 years, something like this? Because I think there are lots
Yeah,
of them like that from
I
reputed
I'm,
universities. So, what's your
right, right.
opinion?
I'm going to answer that shortly. Just that I just need to plug in my charger.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Just spare me 1 minute.
Go
Yeah.
ahead. Yeah, so until he comes back, I think I'll just say one or two, three lines about our industries. I think, or specifically, I should say about the certifications. I think do some certifications if you really want to learn that subject, because you can learn so much these days, but I think in the end, is it going to help you? Is really a good question to ask. And I think if you are an Indian viewer, I would really recommend that forget about Coursera, forget about Udemy, enroll for an NPTEL course. I did one from NPTEL about hydrostatics and stability, and that is one of the best courses to do. It's a really basic course, but it gives you a huge advantage understanding about hydrostatics of your vessel, and I think that was a really key learning topic for me. At the same time, now you can also pick it up, for example, Excel or Python. These two are like really basic things, but it will really give you a huge boost. For example, if you know Python, you can also make dash applications, and you can make you can do a lot of stuff with Python. You can do data visualization, analysis. You can use for post processing of your results from your analysis that you perform. So I think learning these skills will really help you in future. Jeet is back.
Hey, sorry.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I was just telling that just try to learn some basic skills. Huh? Go for NPTEL, for example. Don't fuss
Yeah,
about
sure.
Udemy or Coursera. Just learn from
Yeah,
NPTEL. That's really a good platform, in my opinion.
actually, I mean, even if you remember, Mihir, during our stability course,
Yeah, you also
hydrostatics and
did
stuff,
that, right?
it was actually so it was really good.
Yeah,
They touched on the core subject a lot, and it really helped us.
yeah.
So
That's what I was exactly saying before that. I did that certification. It really helped. And see, Jeet also did that. Now I remember we three of all the roommates we did that,
exactly, yeah, yeah,
and that is really
yes,
one of the basic cores. But it really helped me to understand how the hydrostatics of your vessel goes. Then you can always learn dynamics eventually, but you first learn the statics part of your vessel.
right.
So yeah, you had some things to answer, Jeet.
Okay, okay. What?
The
Okay.
topic was the masters. Should you do in a conventional university way or
Yeah.
some online platform?
Okay. So when it comes to the masters, well, Mihir, for this, I would be going for the conventional one. Because I believe in this part where I am going to learn on the data science point of view, I need to be in the college. A peer knowledge is very much important for me.
Mhm.
And although online courses are obviously they're really good, they are giving you as much learning as much they give in the universities. At least at par, they are trying to. But again, as from a student point of view, um, I would always go for a college where I'll get peer knowledge. Even sitting with friends, solving some problems. You get to learn a lot of things. You get to be associated in a lot of projects, and during that time, I just want to keep my focus totally and totally on this learning rather than getting into hybriding into my job and also my learning. So it won't be, I won't be 100% in that. So I just want to give 100%
I see.
in any of them. But again, it's all in the future. I don't even know that what I'm going to do next. So
Yeah.
let's hope for the best.
I think you even did MBA online, right? Something like this, if I'm
Yes, I
correct.
did. I did.
And that's also one of the learning experience for you, I guess, right? That
Yes, it was. It was. I did it on international trade management, and like, thanks for keeping it out. Like, telling this, I was actually going to come up with my final project on the which I have also posted that in my website, which you can see, which talks a lot about on the surging container threats during the COVID-19 markets.
oh, interesting.
So that was my research project on that. So yeah, you guys can have a look through that and, like, let me know how did you find it.
Definitely, I will. That's interesting. So basically, you would still say that if you stop your career, for example, or I must say career in the sense your professional work experience for 2 years and go
Right.
for conventional masters, that still holds its value, right?
Right. I would, from my point of view, I would say, if if I'm taking that decision, I should be ready with some. There are merits and demerits. Obviously, the
Yeah.
demerits will be I'll be off the industry for some time, but there are merits too. Even you get to learn a lot because companies also tie up with the universities right now. Even our
Yeah.
organization is doing like that. So I believe everything lies in the future, and let's hope for
Yeah.
the best. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's just that the industry and the technology is evolving so fast that now I really fear sometimes that if you go on sabbatical or if you take some kind of student route again, you would be lagging behind what is going on, because what I have felt personally is the universities cannot cope up with the pace the technology is moving on, and the pace it
No
is
doubt.
also coming into our own industry. So I think
Right.
that's something I always struggle to, because some people ask me this question and I'm really I'm also don't know what's the proper answer to give,
Let
but
me exactly, seconding you on that point. I was pretty much scared also when I thought that, okay, fine, let's go for cat and let's do an MBA. But obviously, even I thought like that, since the industry is flourishing like this, if I'm off the industry even far too long, I'll be missing up a lot of things, and
yeah,
that is actually right.
yeah,
But again, I would say, like, when I'm going for this degree, which is again a specialization, again on the data science point of view, I need to learn on the nitty gritties of it. I need
yeah,
to invest myself, and again, whatever comes through that value, whatever comes through that learning, I believe I will be able to implement that in the industry, since a lot of organizations right now, they are doing a merger with the universities also to have their data, tell up stories on those data and take up analysis on those data.
yeah.
So you won't be far too long, but far too behind of it. So you have to keep up pace in accordance to that.
So how would you recommend, because see, I did a master's which was technical. So technical in a sense, you really needed to be in university. Huh?
Yes,
You cannot learn that online. So I would
right.
recommend that if you're doing some really a technical masters, go for a conventional one. Uh, but for example, data science is something like, as you said, that you in the companies they analyze the signals or data from your vessels, which I also do as a part of my job. I learned all the programming from last 3 years on Go. So I'm not the conventional programmer, but I still use it quite a lot, as I said to you before. Uh, at this stage, I sometimes even think that it was good that I didn't went to a computer science route, because you and me both learn programming, but what really differentiates us is the knowledge of vessels, for example,
Exactly.
and that in my opinion holds more value than just learning to program. Yes, my code, for example, might take 6 seconds to run, and the programmer who's trained on it can do it in 2 seconds. But nowadays, with this facilities online, you can always try to optimize your code and learn on it. So this
Yes,
is something I
yes,
always sometimes ask myself, that if now I'm, for example, really interested in programming and I'm enjoying this aspect of my work, I want to grow more into it. So I'm thinking, okay, let's invest a bit more time to learn online. But then at the same time, I think that, okay, how much this learning will really come into fruition in the end, you see. And this is something I have been thinking about a lot, but for now it's okay, it's not my priority in life. But yeah, it's, if you are thinking to go conventional way, I think that still holds more value.
right, right.
Yeah,
Then
it's,
again, it's all about the, you know, it also depends on from person to person. Even I've seen people who are doing an online course,
yeah,
and they are doing pretty much well rather than those people who are doing conventional degrees, and they are coming up here. So
that's
also it is, yeah, that's, they it's all about the hunger to learn, and it's all about how much you are investing in yourself. That is pretty much all about it. If you are investing a lot on yourself in the learning
bang
stage,
on. That's bang on, man. That's really correct.
yeah. So it's all about that. If you're investing a lot on yourself, you are going to see the result. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but obviously in the future.
Yeah,
That's really you're going to get a fruit of it.
completely agree with it. Completely. So moving on, we since we covered our bachelor's, our professional career, and masters,
Right?
uh, would you recommend this field to someone in first place,
Yes, yes, yes.
or
If
would you
I
say to go through mechanical route and then jump here?
um, Well, again, here, that depends, because I've seen mechanical guys who are also performing well ahead, or at par with the Navalaks. So I
Yeah,
wouldn't, demoralize on that factor. Obviously, if you are doing a mechanical, you get into Navalak, and then you can do this whatever the industry has to offer. But naval architecture, you have to understand, it is not just one field. It's like a plethora of surprises. Once you get into this, you
yeah,
are going to get into a lot of things. You are going to get into the operations, the designs, and
mhm,
everything. Even the operations and the design has a lot of branches to it.
yeah,
It's all about the interest that lies within the person.
yeah,
But naval architecture is a field I will anyway, and every time I will recommend, because right now with vessel performance and optimization, coming up in the coming days, the startups coming up with this, there's going to be a lot of requirement for this naval arcs. If they focus, if the course, I would say, of the university focus more on the performance and the optimization and the hydrodynamics point of view. So if they focus more on what is needed in the real life world, obviously let them know about the basics in the starting stage, and then focus more on what is happening outside, so that they will feel more prepared when they go out.
yeah.
So that's what.
Completely agree. And I think the market is also booming for example, offshore wind. At least in Europe, you have a lot of opportunities here. For as a naval architect, or you have any background in ship designing or hydrodynamics, you really can get a good opportunities here, because there are lots of options to explore for within contractors, for example, design offices, research organizations, because there is a huge demand on making floating wind turbines, because currently
Right,
we all have a fixed base, let's say it like this. There are some experiments going on, but like for example, our company, they install pals, and for that they need big ships, which we provide as a contractors. But in the end, I think the market will move towards floating offshore. Uh, what do you think it will come in India anytime soon, or in India we are more
Well,
focusing on solar energies?
well, obviously, wind assisted propulsion is something which it's gaining a lot of I would say insights on outside also and within India also. But in
Okay, so
India,
in
then
propulsion
again,
also it's already happening in India.
yeah, in solar, like there are companies, they have come up with Aditya L1. I'm not sure. I think it starts with it's Nav, something with Nav or something.
Navratī.
Navolt or something like that.
Okay.
Navolt. Yeah. So they have pretty much done that, and that's really a benchmark. They have set a benchmark. So this kind of things, they create a difference in the industry, which is not currently happening with the wind assisted propulsion kind of view. But obviously, you cannot say about the future. Someone can obviously do that, or else might be happening, and I'm not very much aware of, because I'm a bit away from that insights.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because
then
I
again,
know there is wind assistant propulsion implemented by French company, if I'm correct. But yeah, it's nascent stage. Huh? It's really nascent
okay.
stage, and we don't know how it will shoot up. But do you think there will be any shift towards floating solar plants, something like this, or maybe
Well,
offshore wind farms in India?
offshore wind farms. I think in regard to offshore wind farms, yeah, I believe there can be great demand afterwards, because, like I said, currently there isn't there they are not talking about on the design stage, or no one is coming up with the ideas of it,
Okay.
because I have not really seen, in terms of emissions also. India is not. I think India ETS is also not in picture right now for shipping.
Hmm.
So let them come up with the slowly in a slow stage. But
Yeah.
obviously, India, it's a growing market.
Yeah.
They are going to join pretty soon, and shipping
Exactly.
industry in India, it's pretty huge.
Yeah.
So let's hope.
And do you think there will be in future more, let's say, opportunities within inland water transportation? Because that is something I remember our ministry was quite keen on developing.
Yes, yes. And if you remember, I was working on a project in my minor project that was, the dividing the fishing trawler and making it into a catamaran, to reduce the wake distribution in the inland.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So yeah, inland waterways, there was a lot of projects which was going on at that time also. So yeah, there can be a lot of scope in regard to that transport.
I think that that could be really something India can really capitalize on. For example, in my state, there is big river Narmada. They can do that.
Right.
Ganga, for example, flows until Bengal. So I think that's also
Yeah.
something that they
Yes.
can develop for. And I think India has a potential there, in my opinion.
Yes.
And I think it is a matter of time that India also start picking up in the competition to China or Singapore. But do you think our shipbuilding is going to be as efficient as China, for example? Or what do you
Well,
think could be improved in our industry in general, as you have been working with
well,
Design Office or
well,
GRSE? I
well,
think you
here,
also
if
did the HSL internship with us, right?
yes, yes, I
Project,
did, I
yeah.
did. I did.
So
I would specifically say the downtime, or the completion of that stages in the production stage, when it goes to production stage. Obviously, it depends on companies to companies. I believe it's a government sector. You know how work goes around the government sector. Obviously, we know that there are certain procedures that you have to follow
Yeah,
and go along with it. But again, when you get a lot inside the procedures, you get a lot behind on the advancement, because
that's
a
true.
ship if it's taking more than 3-4 years, 5 years,
Yeah,
and then also you are not even sure of whether you can deliver it within time.
that
You
really
are
sets India
behind.
behind. Huh? This is a really something we should really work in India about.
It's really, I actually, when I was doing my yeah, even during my time in Vixanvik, when I was placed in DRC, I felt that that's a lag that we are having right now. But obviously in future we might have some advancement in respect to that, and we can have some
But
step up in that.
what's the reason? Do you think is it because technologically we are behind in terms of what machines we have in shipyard, or is it the capital which is not that skilled, or what's the reason, or there is some political reasons behind it, or what's making us to grow?
Well, I would say it's a mixture
Yeah,
of three things. And because political support is also there. The technologies and everything. Obviously, there's a boom right now in the defense market. So obviously, there has been a lot of change. If you see,
yes,
past 5 years, we have grown a lot. So thanks to the government right now, and like in terms of that, in terms of technologies, we are a growing country. So obviously, one step at a time. We
yeah,
are a bit behind. Obviously, we are a bit behind when it comes to shipbuilding
yeah,
time stage, time frame. But in terms of technologies point of view, I believe with the Make in India in process, and with a lot of MOUs being signed with the shipyards,
yeah,
I believe we are now at a proper stage where we can challenge the status quo.
yeah.
So let's hope for the best. But then again, we have to gear up.
That's
That's
true.
one part where we are lacking a lot. But then again, every country has their merits and demerits, and
Yeah,
we are at a we are at a developing stage.
yeah. I think that's really correct because I feel that with this with Make in India, the technology transfer is quite important. That we are able to do build submarines and frigates and these things in our shipyard. And I think even we made INS Vikrant, right, which is the
Right?
aircraft carrier in Kochi shipyard. So I think that's a
Kochi,
big
yeah.
achievement. I
Yes.
even know that there was a need to add some solid ballast there. So that's something as a naval architect, we both know that that's not the best thing can expect from during a shipbuilding process. But it's okay. It's on the way. I must say we are developing in that aspect.
We are developing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really. I think it really gives me hope that India can really challenge status quo, as you said, huh, on
Yes.
shipbuilding. But
Yes. Obviously, we are, I wouldn't say we are at that level, but we are slowly reaching at that point. And within this time, and with this support of the government, and with this much amount of investments in the defense as well as the maritime industry,
yeah,
I it's just a matter of time that we cross the markets.
talking about countries, what about the colleagues who are working in Dubai? What do you feel about it? How's the work culture there? Opportunities in Dubai, finances? Do you have any idea about it?
I would have a very little overview, I would say,
Yeah,
about things, about that insights. Obviously, there are shipbuilding companies right there, Abu Dhabi, and in UAE there are some good companies which are also making up yachts.
yeah.
There
Really?
are also, sorry.
They are making yachts
Yeah.
also? Oh, that's
Yes,
nice.
there are companies which are making yachts also. Yeah, and it's not just specific in Italy. Even in Dubai they are doing this. So yeah, I mean, like, in terms of designing shipbuilding, there's a lot of scope when you come in this part of detailed designing in our naval architectural point of view.
Hmm.
When you are more interested in the detailed designing point or production point, Dubai is a place where you can learn a lot.
Yeah.
So
So I think
so
that's
you
also
you
something, an opportunity lies after you finish studies, that you can look options in India, of course, but in Middle East and in Europe, there is always a demand for our stream.
Yep, yep, yes,
But I think that's a good note to round up our conversation, I guess.
yep,
You
yes.
have any additional topics or something you want to discuss?
Well, I think we have covered everything, and I think that's all I had to say. I mean, it's a big market. I just want to say this thing that to all the freshers, it's a very big market. There's a lot of things coming up in the industry. In the coming stages, there are a lot of regulations coming up. There's a lot of scope with new fuels.
Yeah,
So just have those insights. Just attend all the webinars you get access to, and be in touch with the maritime professionals,
yeah,
because again, wherever you go, they are going to help you a lot. This industry, takes you with their open arms if you have great things to provide to her also. So
exactly.
that's what.
There is always need for skilled engineers, huh? So this is something I think is a key takeaway, that develop the skills in that regard. We also are learning still. I also learn a lot every day in my job, huh?
Yes,
So
yes,
we are also in that process. So you can't just think that okay, we finished our degree and now we are no more in the process to learn. That's not gonna work like that.
right, right.
Yes, so I think it was a really good conversation. I think I will stop recording.
Yep. Thank you for calling me.
One second, I'll stop recording first.